Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on KPAX, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, I'm Kent Lutzen. Missoula's Southgate Mall will be under new ownership in the near future as the current owner signed an agreement to sell the retail hub to an Ohio investment group. The news comes even as Southgate Mall is in the final stages of completing a 2-year effort to revamp the southern end of the mall with an emphasis on more of a neighborhood design and services. The Washington Prime Group announced it was purchasing Southgate for $58 million in a fourth quarter conference call with investors on Thursday. Washington Prime CEO Lou Conforti told investors the Missoula property really exemplifies our dominant secondary town center focus, noting Southgate has a catchment or customer service area covering over 130 square miles across western Montana and portions of Idaho. He notes the mall's close proximity to the University of Montana, its diverse tenant mix, and the new AMC Theater and soon to open Lucky's Market. Conforti said he'd visit Southgate earlier this month, and he believes the mall offers a long-term growth proposition for Washington Prime. Southgate has over 630,000 square feet of leasable retail space. The deal closes out their original ownership by Peter Lambros and his partners, who opened the Southgate Mall in the early 1980s. The company has been working separately to develop additional housing developments south of the mall in the future. Washington Prime was leasing 4 million square feet of space at the end of 2017, with occupancy running in excess of 90%. It owns malls in Ohio, Virginia, Indiana, Illinois, and California, among others. The Southgate Mall sale is expected to be final in the second quarter of this year. Imagine gathering with friends in front of a warm fireplace, sipping your favorite local craft brew, and sharing some gourmet chicken wings. Then the movie starts. That's the new entertainment option preparing to open in Missoula as AMC Theaters opens the new Southgate Mall 9 this coming week. Dennis Braggs gives a sneak peek.
If you're a fan of architecture like me, you've been itching to see the inside of the new theater at Southgate Mall ever since construction started over a year ago. Put quite simply, it's gorgeous, and there's nothing else like it in the region.
You look at the lobby, it does what it what the objective was, to kind of feel like it was part of the town. Way back in the early days. If you look at the lobby, it's very beautiful. You can look at the mountains, and you've got the fireplace behind me. So I think it kind of incorporates, the Missoula, beautiful scenery into the lobby area.
But in today's competitive entertainment market, you can't bring just any theater online. The Southgate Mall 9 is one of the AMC dine-in theaters. In fact, the first one in the Inland Northwest. As
a company, as AMC, we're very excited that we bring in this new concept to Missoula. Especially the dine-in concept, where someone could come in, see a movie, get a dinner, and it's the whole package that they're going to get by coming here.
As someone who's been going to films my entire life, I never imagined a time when you'd be able to have all of this, the entertainment and the great eats, all under one roof. I mean, look at this. Whether you have chicken or one of the signature burgers or a more healthy option, dinner and a movie has a whole new meaning now in Missoula.
Where is all that scrumptious food coming from? Behind the lobby is a complete full-service restaurant kitchen where a trained food service staff are whipping up the sweet and savory stuff you've never had in a movie theater. When you kick back in the recliners in the auditoriums, you can hit the call button and a server comes right to you, customizing your order on the tablet, which is sent directly to the kitchen. Need a refill on your Coke? They've got the full assortment of drinks, and yes, popcorn too.
When the guest comes in, they could reserve, their tickets online, so they could pick already, their seats, before they even come to the theater. Then once they come in, they're going to have a full bar where they could get beer and wine. We're going to have a lot of local craft beers, and then once they proceed into the auditorium, they're going to have a server for the whole portion of the movie.
And the movies are going to look great with laser projection and the latest sound, whether you settle into the smallest 60-seat theater or the 250-seat auditorium with its wall-to-wall screen.
Back when I started in the company, it was the 35mm projectors and the old IMAX 70mm. To now, it's all digital and it's state-of-the-art. The sound is much clearer, and now we're having you can have dinner and see a movie at the same time. So it's very exciting for our industry.
And when I showed my wife the video and said it's too bad they didn't have this when we were dating, she started dropping hints about next week. Think she was trying to tell me something? Dennis Bragg, MTN News, Missoula.
The new Southgate Mall 9 officially opens with a full slate of movies on Monday. For years, the Big Sky Film Documentary Festival has brought stories from around the world to Missoula. This February, over 170 films from 40 different countries are on the big screen, with some of them entering in competitions. 23 of the 35 films were world premieres, with many more showing for the first time in North America. Executive Director Rachel Gregg says the sheer amount of submissions and the exceptional community support made this year's festival a challenge in the best way possible.
We had about 2,000 submissions this year, so that's a whole new level for us, and working through all of those films to come down to a final program was an exciting challenge, really. It's fun to be growing in stature in that way. It's fun to exhibit that our town is seeing a little bit of growth and change. People who come back to the festival year after year notice that, and they're curious about what's going on here.
Switching gears to weather, overnight lows will drop into the middle teens to lower 20s. By mid-morning, we could possibly see some snow. But with the very latest, let's go to meteorologist Russ Thomas with his first forecast. Russ.
Thank you, Kent. Yeah, that's right. It looks like tomorrow we are going to see our next weather system move in. And in fact, we have both advisories and a warning to tell you about regarding that. Now, we've got a winter weather advisory from 5 a.m. tomorrow morning all through midnight. And that goes for northwest Montana, including the Flathead Mission Valley. We're going to see 2 to 5 inches in that area. Locally, maybe some spots a little bit more. So that's your range right there. As we move a little bit farther to the south, and we're speaking specifically of a winter storm warning, I have to adjust that. Looks like the map is a little off center there, but as you look around, look out past through about Alberton, 5 to 8 inches possible, up to 14 in a few spots. We'll have more coming up in just a few minutes.
Democrats gathered in Bozeman this evening to meet voters and debate some hot topics with moderator and former Supreme Court Justice Mike Wheat. MTN's Morgan Davies reports from the debate.
4 of the 5 candidates running in the U.S. Democratic House primary took the stage at the Rialto to debate different topics like health care as well as gun control. John Heenan, Kathleen Williams, Grant Keir, and Jared Patitano debated the hot topic issues, but they also saw this debate as an opportunity to get to know the voters.
This is a major population center and a lot of votes to be had here in Gallatin County, so as everywhere, it's important to show up and let people kick the tires.
In Montana, we take pride in having access to the people that we want to elect and the people that we have elected. This is exactly how we can do that.
Citizens and voters can hear how we differ or are similar on the issues.
There were 3 styles of questions given to candidates, including rapid fire yes or no questions, which MTN's political analyst Dr. David Parker says was very telling for each candidate.
A lot of debates, sometimes it's only 30 seconds a minute. The negative is there wasn't any back and forth between the candidates, which is something I think that's exciting and that's interesting and I really wanted to see. But we did get a good sense of the candidates, I think, overall.
The 5 candidates will face off in the June primary, and the winner of that will take on incumbent Republican Greg Gianforte. Reporting in Bozeman, Morgan Davies, MTN News.
And in national news, new questions are being raised about the initial response to the Florida school shooting by some Broward County Sheriff's deputies. The Sheriff's Office says it is investigating claims that 3 deputies did not go into Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School when they should have. Officers say they arrived at the school shortly after the shooting and found the deputies outside with guns drawn. A 4th deputy, School Resource Officer Scott Peterson, resigned this week. The shooting sparked intense debate about gun laws and school safety. Several companies are cutting ties with the National Rifle Association. United Airlines, Enterprise, Hertz, MetLife, and others have ended relationships with the NRA. Stick around because after the break, meteorologist Russ Thomas will be back with a look at our morning weather. Stay tuned.